And to bring us more details, let's also get some perspective on these visits. Let's go across to our political editor, Mr. Kartikeya Sharma, who joins us on the phone line. Kartikeya, it's going to be a long day indeed for the Indian Prime Minister-elect as he began his day at the crack of the dawn. How do you view his visit to these three monuments?
See, Gandhi won because he's father of the nation. That's, it's like, there can be no contested legacy when it comes to Mahatma Gandhi. But Atal Bihari Vajpayee, because Atal Bihari Vajpayee is Bharatiya Janata Party's RSS legacy. They do not identify with Jawaharlal Nehru and other leaders. And the war memorial, which in go, is because there's a special emphasis on the martyrs of those who fought in the war. And that's like creating a different sort of perspective in terms of the contribution of people in freedom struggle and subsequently. It's not as if the previous governments have not acknowledged it. It's just that the emphasis is stronger here. So I would say that this is a government which wants to celebrate its icon. It's a government which wants to assert its own sense of history or its own perspective of India's past. And lastly, it's a government right now which has got a full-fledged majority in Lok Sabha. So it's a confident government. You see, these are the things done by the governments who have complete mandate. And you know what, the mandate is out, and you get a handsome mandate like that, then you create new precedents. And that's what Narendra Modi is doing. He's creating new precedents.
Right. Very rightly said, Kartikeya. Also important to talk about how the nationalistic fervour has played a very important role in NDA's victory this year. And what we see today as the Indian Prime Minister-elect pays his tribute at the National War Memorial is indeed very symbolic. All right, Kartikeya, so we are getting in visuals from the National War Memorial, and as you were talking about how there's greater emphasis on our war heroes, I would also like to talk about how the nationalistic fervour has helped the NDA to, bag a sweeping victory this year. How symbolic is the Indian Prime Minister-elect's visit to the National War Memorial for you?
It's a positive feeling, sometimes, generally the post World War II liberal order fears nationalism because they feel that, the sort of war which took place and the strong nationalist government led to fascism, it led to, it led to a movement in history where nations fought. And like, for example, Nazism in Germany, fascism in Italy, or the stronger governments are fighting over. But, in I would say, in a world which is late capitalism, what we call, nationalism also functions like a positive feeling with those who sometimes are left out of the new economic order. For example, in America, there's a resurgence of nationalism against the coastal elites of Americans, and it is binding the middle America, or what we call as the Bible Belt of America, together for simple reason where a lot of people feel that it is one way of expressing solidarity. Solidarity is a word, and solidarity expressed politically. Solidarity expressed politically through a feeling of nationalism or positive nationalism can create a powerful movement. When there was a movement in Poland in the 1980s, which was also known as the Velvet Revolution, against the communist regime. It was called Solidarity. So the point I'm trying to make is that India has globally, or from a global perspective, it has also been transformed by larger political winds or larger political trends, and that being the demise of complete the left order in India, irrelevance of the left politics, stronger resurgence of nationalism, the war hero, and putting more respect or more emphasis on the unknown heroes, as if the history was subverted.
That's a very interesting point, Karthikeya, that you're making. The larger political wins always lead to a transformation for the nation. And this NDA victory could also prove to be a turning point for India, indeed. Speaking of the Indian Prime Minister-elect, who will also be sworn in for a second term, and his swearing-in ceremony will begin at 7 p.m. IST. Nearly 8,000 guests in attendance. Tell us more what to expect from the swearing-in ceremony, Karthikeya.
See, I expect this swearing-in ceremony that at least it should be a 1.5 hour long affair. At least, I expect Amit Shah to be sworn in. I expect new faces to be in. I expect a new cabinet committee of security with its top 5.
You just slipped one new name, that was Amit Shah's. I wouldn't let you go without some more names that could be on the list. Please do share them.
See, I think Amit Shah is one person. A lot of people have been re-elected. What I'm really surprised is that how will they give portfolios? For example, Smriti Irani was given a very powerful portfolio HRD.
Right.
She created so much of controversy. She was shifted to IND. She also created controversy where she was shifted to a very low-profile textile industry. Now she is the giant killer of this season. So will Smriti Irani be rewarded for her electoral performance? Because in context of her work, she did not work silently. So she remained as a cabinet colleague, but her work as a minister, was not appreciated. That is why, no one gets shifted out from HRD to textile ministry. Don't have much of a job in textile. But she was. But, she's a powerful player today. Or will Jiten Singh be promoted? He's MOSP, a very powerful position, but still an MOS. Will he be given an independent charge? Will he be given a cabinet minister? Which means that he will have a new minister.
So as we speak, Karthikeya, the Indian Prime Minister-elect, Mr. Narendra Modi, has arrived at the War Memorial, where he's been greeted by the chiefs of the 3 forces. He's also being greeted by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman as he proceeds towards the War Memorial. Important to tell our viewers about this National War Memorial, which is a monument constructed by the India government. It was inaugurated in February this year. It is in the vicinity of India Gate. This has been constructed as a memorial to honor the armed forces. It's spread over 40 acres. Is made around the existing canopy, or the chhatri as it is called, near the India Gate. The memorial wall, interestingly, is flushed with the ground, also carries the names of the martyrs right from the 1962 India-China War till the Kargil War of 1999. Interestingly, it also carries names of soldiers and martyrs who were part of operations such as Operation Rakshak. Their names are all inscribed on the memorial walls. There you have it. The Indian Prime Minister-elect just paid his obeisance to the martyrs of India, accompanied by the head of the Chief of the Army Staff, General Bipin Rawat, Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Sunil Lamba, and of course a senior member from the Air Staff accompanying the Indian Prime Minister-elect, as he's also greeted by other senior members of the three services of Indian Armed Forces. He's also accompanied by the Defence Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman. As we just saw, Narendra Modi just paid his tribute to the war heroes at the National War Memorial. These are live visuals coming to you. It's important to talk about how important this war memorial is not only for the nation but also for the NDA government. As we were speaking to our political editor Kartikeya Sharma, who rightly pointed out that the War Memorial is indeed an integral place. It's an integral memorial for not just the nation but for the NDA government, because this is the NDA government's way of emphasizing on the nationalism that is a top priority for this government. Interestingly, there was no national memorial dedicated to commemorate the sacrifice of fallen soldiers after independence, and it was this NDA government that constructed the National War Memorial. The National War Memorial pays tribute to soldiers who laid down their lives defending the nation during the India-China War in 1962, the Indo-Pak Wars in 1947, 1965 and 1971, the Indian peacekeeping force operations in Sri Lanka and in the Kargil conflict of 1999 as well. Now, the Indian Prime Minister, then Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, had dedicated the National War Memorial that has been built at a cost of more than 175 crore rupees. This is a war memorial that's spread over a massive area of approximately 40 acres. The National War Memorial comprises of 4 concentric circles: the Amar Chakra, the Veer Chakra, the Tyag Chakra and the Rakshak Chakra, with names of over 25,942 soldiers that have been inscribed in golden letters on granite tablets. That's how beautiful this National War Memorial is. It was constructed during the first term of the NDA government, the sanctions of which took place in 2015. It was inaugurated this year in February. And just a few minutes ago, we saw a calm and confident Indian Prime Minister-elect paying tribute to the martyrs of the nation at the National War Memorial, accompanied by members of the 3 armed forces. We saw him being accompanied by General Bipin Rawat, the Chief of the Army Staff. He's also been accompanied by Chief of the Naval Staff, Admiral Sunil Lamba. He's also accompanied by a senior member of the Air Staff. We're showing you again these visuals at the National War Memorial, where the Indian Prime Minister paid tribute to the martyrs. Let's not forget that this is a very special day, as in few hours from now, he will be sworn in for a second consecutive term at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Do stay tuned to WION as we bring you a continuous coverage of minute-by-minute developments as the Indian Prime Minister gets set to be sworn in.